Welcome to Big B Daily. No frauds allowed.
What's going on, people? This is Brien Hanley, Big B. Welcome back to the Big B Daily Show, man. Thank you guys for coming in. We are live on TikTok. We're live on YouTube. What's going on, people? What is happening? What is happening? Good weekend. Good weekend of football. Good weekend of football this past week. It was wild. It was crazy. Some surprises. Fraud alert for a few teams. But overall, good week of football. It's going to be good coming down the stretch, too. NFL's got some good games coming down the stretch. So I think it's good that we got this thing going on. So I thank you guys. Appreciate it. So thanks for coming in, man. Like I said, we're live on TikTok. Y'all keep tapping the screen. We need at least 3,500 likes and at least 30 new follows. So keep tapping. And if you're in and you're not following, please give me a follow over on YouTube. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. I would appreciate it. The Big B Sports Talk. And as always, the super chat is open. So anybody that wants their question or their statement immediately put to the top and read immediately and put up on the screen, send whatever you can. Like I said, we accept anything. It always helps support the channel. So we appreciate it. Same thing on TikTok. Any gift you want to send over to help support the channel, we appreciate it. Let's get into this, man. So let's get into this. Cowboys, last night, Cowboys smacked around the Eagles, man. They made a statement. They physically beat up the Eagles. That was a beatdown. That was a beatdown. That they smacked around the Eagles. I thought the Cowboys would win, but I thought the Eagles would put up a fight. And yet, that is not what happened. So, the Cowboys do have a tough schedule, though, coming down the stretch. The Eagles, they play, I can't remember. I think it's Detroit this week. The Eagles got a much easier schedule the last 4 games than the Cowboys. My goodness. So, the Seahawks, that's who they play, the Seahawks. They play the Seahawks. I appreciate that, man. And then they got Arizona. Well, they got the Giants, then Arizona, then the Giants. So, I mean, that's tough. That's tough for the Cowboys to overcome because that's a very easy schedule for the Eagles. So if the Eagles take care of business, they can still win the division. Where the Cowboys, on the other hand, woo! I mean, that gauntlet is brutal. So, because they got the Bills, they go to the Bills, and they go to Miami, then they got the Seahawks. I mean, or not the Seahawks, the Lions. I'm like, it's brutal. So if the Cowboys end up winning this division, they earned it. So, and you're right, the Seahawks are still a good football team. So winning there, still a good football team. But last night, I think the Cowboys made a statement. And as much as people don't want to admit it, the Cowboys are better than the Eagles. Do y'all feel that way? Because the Cowboys' mistakes are what cost them in Philadelphia. They beat themselves. Last night, they didn't beat themselves. They just beat the brakes off the Eagles. And the Eagles couldn't do nothing about it. They couldn't do anything about it. They got physically manhandled on both sides of the line of scrimmage, what happened to the Eagles running the ball? I know it's a new offensive coordinator, but they got to run the football more. They just don't run it enough. They got to run it more. I don't know. I didn't like the game plan. I didn't like it at all. It's a problem. And maybe they're thinking, hey, we're paying this quarterback all this money. We got to pay him. No, you don't. Play to his strengths. Run the football. It was ugly. It was ugly. Bottom line, Cowboys made a statement. Cowboys made a statement. They just took Philly behind the woods shed and smacked them around. Smacked them around. Let's move on. And I apologize. I got these little cough drops in my throat. I got a sore throat and a cough. So I'm doing the best I can, man. So bear with me. Bear with me. So the Chiefs, man, the Chiefs are falling apart. The Chiefs are absolutely falling apart. I don't know what's going on. Actually, I do know what's going on. But y'all follow me on this. And tell me if you agree. I think with the problem with the Chiefs, and it's pretty simple. Their offense, well, in their offseason, they decided to go pay some tackles. Taylor and Smith. They went and paid tackles. They missed. They're paying those guys a ton of money and did not address the wide receiver position. So the line, as far as the tackle position, is still bad. The receivers stink. And the whole issue is they can't protect Mahomes like they could. They don't run it enough, even though they can be successful running the ball. They just won't run it enough. And that's the problem. That's the problem. You paid tackles that aren't any good and decided to not pay the running or the wide receiver position. They decided to do that, and now they're paying the price. They are literally paying the price. So, Mahomes' contract's not killing them. That's not what it is. They spent the money in the wrong spot. They spent the money in the wrong spot. They had money. They spent it on tackles that aren't as good as what they're paying them. And didn't go pay receivers. So that's what's problem with the Chiefs, with their offense. Now let's get to Mahomes a little bit. I made a post earlier today that, Mahomes is doing all this belly aching about the refs. He's complaining about the refs. I don't think Patrick Mahomes is mad at the refs. I don't think he's mad at the refs at all. I think Patrick Mahomes is extremely frustrated because he knows that their receiving core is horrible. And he can't come out and say that. He can't. And so when they made a call, which was the correct call, by the way, I mean, the guy was over the line of scrimmage at the wide receiver position. I mean, you looking at the ball, I don't know how that's even possible, but whatever. But either way, he's so mad that he can't come out and say anything. He just blamed it all on the refs. That's not who he's mad at. I just refuse to believe that Patrick Mahomes is not self-aware enough to understand where the problems are with that offense. He does. He does. So, and no, that call doesn't happen all game long. Stop it. Receivers aren't over the line of scrimmage all game long. Gee, man, stop the belly aching. My God. And I know what some people are saying. Oh, well, the refs are supposed to tell you to get back. First of all, they teach you in Pee-wee football. Pee-wee football. When you go out on the line as a receiver, you check with the referee. He didn't do that. That's number one. Number two, from time to time, refs will tell you, hey, get back. But that's only when a receiver is outside the numbers. If they're inside the numbers, they're not telling you that. So Tony's looking at the ball. You're telling me you're looking at the ball and you don't know that you're over the line? Ridiculous. 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 So it's just insane. It's insane. You could basically say that Tony's cost the Chiefs 2 games this year. You could say that, and you wouldn't be wrong. And yes, there are other plays that happen in a football game. Lots of other plays. But he personally has been responsible for 2 plays, the pick against the Lions, and then yesterday for the Chiefs not winning. So it's interesting. Very interesting. Keegan, we're not even going to bring that comment up, man. You got to say something better than that, bro. You got to say something better than that. We're not doing that. So, but it's interesting, man. It's interesting. Chiefs should be better. Chiefs should be better. And they got a schedule to keep winning. So, they got a schedule to keep winning. But we'll find out. We'll find out. Let's move on. Let's talk a little Brock Purdy MVP talk. Now, if you guys have been in since the beginning of the season, I have told anybody that will listen that Brock Purdy isn't that good. I have said that Brock Purdy is a product of the system. I have said Brock Purdy can't play from behind. I said as soon as he gets a little game pressure, he falls apart, which I still stand by that, by the way. I still stand by that. But what I won't do is blame Brock Purdy for his team continually getting him the lead. I won't continue to do that. You can't blame the man because his team gets him in the lead and he plays well. Can't do that. So I just believe that at this point in time, you got to say Brock Purdy is the leader of the MVP race. Now, do I think Dak is playing better or at least at that level? Yeah. I like Dak's chances. But for this week, I'm going Purdy. It could change next week. Last week, I said it was Dak. Purdy had a much better game than Dak. So now I'm giving it to Purdy. It can go back and forth. CMC has to be in that conversation. So we'll see, man. We will absolutely see. But Purdy's playing well. Nobody can deny that. Tyreek Hill, look, y'all know my feelings on Tyreek Hill. I think he should get the MVP, but they're not going to give it to him. I don't care if he goes for 2,200 yards. They're not going to give it to him. It's a quarterback award. So I would vote, if I had a vote, it would be for Tyreek Hill. But they're not going to give him that award. And they should. So, and they should. So, we'll see, man. We'll see what happens. I like it. I like Purdy right now. I like Tyreek. I like Dak. I like CMC. We'll see how it ends up. I know there's some people talking about Jalen Hurts. No. Jalen Hurts is nowhere in that conversation. So, he's not in that conversation. Lamar Jackson is not in that conversation. No. Nope. So, we'll see what happens, man. So, let's move on. Let's get to the open mic session, man. Let's talk about it. So, have you all noticed that old Joe Flacco is dominating football right now? Joe Flacco came off the couch is already better than my quarterback, Baby Hands Pickett. 250 yards and 2 TDs. He's done that in a game. Baby Hands Pickett has never done that. Oh my God. It's so disheartening. It's so disheartening that baby hands isn't better than that. Mm, mm, mm. I just Flacco's doing it, man. You got to give the man credit. You got to give the man credit. He's doing it. He's doing it. And I know there's not a whole lot of film, but people know who Joe Flacco is. So, oh well. We'll see. Let's talk Baker and the Bucks for what? Why would we do that? There's no reason to do that. Flacco for comeback player of the year. If he plays enough games, can we do that? Can Joe Flacco win comeback player of the year if he ends up playing 7 games? I don't know. So, Tua? Does Tua qualify for comeback player of the year? I mean, he didn't have a season-ending injury. I mean, he didn't play the playoff game, but he played the game before that. So I don't know. I don't know how that works. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Now here's the thing that I find interesting. How in the hell are the Steelers still the 6th seed in the AFC? And y'all know that I am a diehard Steelers fan. I have no idea how we're still the 6th seed. I mean, these tiebreakers are insane. They're insane. Houston beat us. We're in ahead of them. I'm like, damn, head to head. But when it's like 5 or 6 teams that are all bunched together, these crazy tiebreaker rules have the Steelers as the 6th seed. I don't see how that's possible. And watch the Steelers after 2 just absolutely embarrassing losses. Just embarrassing. At home, but to the Cardinals and the Patriots, they won a combined 4 games all year. You watch the Steelers go on the road and beat the Colts this week. You watch. It's going to happen. It is going to happen. I'm telling you right now. Steelers are going to go to Indianapolis and win. And I have no idea how. So, I just, it's so frustrating as a Steelers fan. I had an opportunity. We could be 9-4 right now. Instead, we're 7-6. Oh, well, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? It's interesting. Big B Daily Show, man. 4 p.m. every Monday through Friday. I appreciate y'all coming in, man. And on TikTok, if you're not following, please give me a follow, man. I appreciate it. We're starting to have the little topics that we cover first. Cowboys made a big statement. Chiefs are falling apart. Brock Purdy, the MVP leader. I know there's a lot of Cowboys fans that come in here. And I like Dak. I just think Brock Purdy right now, best team in the league. He's the leader. And he's playing really, really good football. I mean, that was a good football game he played yesterday against the Seahawks. And the Seahawks are not horrible. So now here's a good post. My man over here on YouTube, my man Troy Thibodeau. Thanks for coming back to the show, man. Miami is the most underrated team in the NFL. Number 1 seed in AFC, tied for the best record in NFL after a win tonight. Nobody talks about them. That's because they haven't beaten anybody any good. Remember when they were bad-mouthing the Cowboys 2 weeks ago because they hadn't beaten anybody any good? It's the same thing with the Dolphins. Dolphins hadn't beaten anybody any good. When they do, people will give them the credit, and they will have earned it. But as of now, no, they haven't. And I like the Dolphins. I picked the Dolphins to win that division before the season started. I thought it would be tougher with Ramsey out, but they got through that. He's back. They're playing good football. So My man James Richards, what's going on, man? So, Denver wasn't good when they played them. You know, Troy and I know that Denver was not the same team that they were then that they are now. You got to stop saying stuff like that, man. Don't do that. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. You know that Denver was horrible then. Not near the same team. Not near. But they're playing good football now. I'll give you credit. I'll give them credit. So, let's talk about the Lions for a second. You know, earlier in the year, when the Lions there were Lions fans all over the place. Where are the Lions fans today? We won't be able to buy a Lions fan in here today. They're usually in here by the droves. We couldn't put all our money together. There's 110 people over here on TikTok. I can't see how many are over here on YouTube. We couldn't put all those people together, all our money together, and buy a Lions fan to come in today. We couldn't do that. Crazy. So we'll see. Where are the Lions? I think the Lions are setting themselves up for failure. I think the Lions are going to end up winning the division by default. They'll win it by default. And then they're going to get smacked around the first round of the playoffs. Smacked around the first round of the playoffs. My man, Captain Mars, you did say that the Bills were going to win a close game, didn't you, brother? Got to give you props. You were all over it over here on YouTube. He picked the game Friday. He said the Bills would win a close one, and they did. Now, my man Marvel, now y'all stay with me. He says, Marvel Fanatic says, after the Ravens win last night, are the Ravens on track to winning a Super Bowl this season? I don't think so. I still don't trust the Ravens to win against a really good team yet. I don't trust them. Now, is there super teams in the AFC? I think the answer is no. So would I be surprised if the Ravens end up in the Super Bowl? No, I wouldn't. Now, the Ravens do have a tough schedule down the stretch. They got to go in 2 weeks. They go to San Francisco. They still got Miami. They still got the last game of the year against the Steelers, which is always a battle. But I still don't trust them. So, but we'll find out. We will find out. My man Seth, thanks for the super chat, man. We appreciate it. Vikings set an all-time scoring record, 3-0. Man, Seth, look, they won the game, and they're in the hunt. I think if the playoffs ended today, I think the Vikings would be in it. So that's all you can ask for, man. That's all you can ask for. Nobody thought the Vikings were going to win this many games this year. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that people thought that. People are saying Dak is the MVP favorite. I don't think so. I think after this week, I think it's Purdy. That don't mean Dak ain't in it. But I think it's got to be Purdy at this point. But again, it's not my personal favorite to win it is Tyreek Hill. I want Tyreek Hill to win the MVP. That's who I want to win, but I just don't think they're going to give it to him. Purdy only because the NFL loves a good story? Maybe. Man, JoJo says MVP is Tyreek. I think so too, brother. I think so too. I just don't think they'll give it to him. Do the Browns, or my man Keegan asked, and I'll ask you on TikTok and on YouTube, do you think the Browns have a chance to win the AFC Championship? Y'all think the Browns have a chance to win the AFC Championship? I think they do. I mean, they got as good a chance as anybody. AFC's wide open. I think they do. If they're going to continue to play defense and Joe Flacco is going to continue to play in like this, and if you all remember correctly, Joe Flacco plays really good in the playoffs. Joe Flacco plays really good in the playoffs. Now, that was a decade ago, over a decade ago. But truth is truth. If they get there, maybe he turns the clock back. I don't know. So, what do y'all think about the Packers? My man James Richards says Packers may slide into the playoffs. They're playing very good football right now. I think they got an opportunity. The team I think is going to fall out, I think, is going to be the Seahawks. They got a tough schedule. I think the Seahawks are going to end up falling out, and I think the Packers move into that spot where the AFC North ends up getting three, or the NFC North gets three teams. The Lions, the Vikings, and the Packers all make the playoffs. So, and then you got somebody that says Brock Purdy MVP is crazy. That's somebody that hates the 49ers because you may not think he's the MVP, but to say it's crazy, a guy that leads the league in QBR and putting up the numbers that he's putting up, that's crazy? Because if Lamar Jackson was putting up the numbers that Brock Purdy was putting up, to say that Lamar Jackson is the MVP, would that be crazy? No, it wouldn't. So the team isn't carrying it. How does a team carry a guy that throws for 368 yards? Come on, man. Stop. The team carries a guy, for instance, like Jalen Hurts. They were winning all those games. Jalen Hurts was throwing for 190 yards, 200 yards, and they were winning. Wouldn't you say that is being carried by your team? Because I can guarantee you this. If you flip and gave Brock Purdy Jalen Hurts stats and Jalen Hurts Brock Purdy's stats, saying that Jalen Hurts would be the MVP, it wouldn't even be a discussion. We would be saying, yeah, he is. So stop. You got to stop, man. Look, y'all know me. I'm one of the biggest Brock Purdy haters out there. But let's just be honest. The man is playing well. And you don't throw for 368 yards on checkdown. Stop the nonsense. Jesus. Golly. The man leads the league in accuracy on passes 30 yards or more in the National Football League. Does that sound like a guy that's throwing all checkdowns? I mean, you hear something on the internet and then you just start running with it. Y'all know that I just deal with facts here, man. Come on. You don't like Brock Purdy, I get it. I'm with you. But don't lie to try to be right. We're bigger than that in here. Come on, hooligans. We're bigger than that. I don't have to check the yak stats. And nobody gets mad at Tua for his yak stats. Nobody gets mad at him for that. Nobody gets mad at Patrick Mahomes for his yak stats. Does anybody get mad at him? No. I mean, what was it like? 38% of Patrick Mahomes' passes that he completes over his career are less than 8 yards down the field. And nobody's mad at him for that. So, you can't get mad at the guy for making the plays that he's making. Now, if you want to be mad at him and discredit him because he probably blew your team out, okay. That's fine. That's fine. I mean, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. And that's probably what it is. He blew your team out. You're upset. So you got to try to make up something or say something to discredit him. Okay. And look, I'll be the first person to discredit Brock Purdy. Doesn't play well from behind. Doesn't play well when game pressure's on. When when they're down in the third quarter by a touchdown, he can't lead you to victory. I'm that guy. Okay. But don't just make up stuff to try to be right. And Dak is better. Okay, I'm good with Dak being better. I'm good with it. I'm good with that. But right now, Purdy's leading the MVP race. So, my lady over on YouTube, Yvonne Espinoza, said the Browns defense under Jim Schwartz is solid, and Joe Flacco did stay in shape waiting for the call. He's a Super Bowl champion. Yeah, that's why I give the Browns an opportunity. That's why I give them a chance, because that defense is playing crazy. And somehow Joe Flacco is playing good football. Somehow, some way. Somehow, some way. So, Dak is more valuable to his team, probably, but that ain't how the MVP gets voted on, and you know it. So, I don't disagree. I don't disagree at all. You take Dak off of Dallas, they're not as good. But that ain't how they vote on the MVP. So, Now, here's a good question. Big B, do you think the current 49ers coach, Brian Griese, has helped out Brock Purdy a lot? I think he has. I think the system that he's in has helped him a lot. The players that play in that system have helped him a lot. Everything around him has helped him. But he's helped himself. He's helped himself. So, and here's somebody in all caps. Dak is clearly the MVP. No, he's not. No, he's not. Not clearly. You can think that he is, but that don't mean he's clearly the MVP. Come on now. Purdy's not the MVP of his own team. I agree. It's CMC, but that ain't how the MVP gets voted on. You guys know that. Stop, man. Stop. You got to stop. So, Dak ain't the front runner of anything. So, and I like Dak. Dak's playing great football, the best football of his career. And the one thing I will say about Dak right now, if he comes out of this gauntlet and keeps playing the way that he's playing right this very second, then Dak wins the MVP. There ain't no question in my mind. If Dak Prescott comes out of this gauntlet of games that the Cowboys are about to go through, and he continues to play the way that he's playing right now, he will win the MVP. And if he don't, it'll be a travesty of justice. That I am willing to say that right now. So, right now. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So, let's see. On a side note, on Ohtani getting 10 years, $700 million, make it make sense. Hey, man, more power to him. I wouldn't have given the guy $700 million. But for the Dodgers, it makes sense. They're going to make that money back with all the merchandise and ticket sales, with all of that stuff. They're going to make that money back. So, good for them. Now, a lot of the money is deferred, but he's going to get every bit of $700 million. More power to him, man. More power to him. Got another super chat here from my man Marble Fanatic. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Thank you very much. Are we in the era of QB empowerment and witnessing the end of the system QB? I don't think so. I don't think so. And all quarterbacks are always in some sort of system. Brock Purdy is just taking advantage of where he's at right now. Good for him. But you know what? So is Dak. So are a lot of people. So are a lot of people. Who moves the goalpost for Dallas and Dak? Because I hate the Cowboys, and everybody knows it. So if you just got in here and you're saying that I always move the goalpost for Dallas and Dak, you're lying to yourself. Because everybody that comes in here on a regular basis knows that I am the vice president of the Dallas Cowboys Hater Club. They know that. They know that. Brock and the 49ers are the Super Bowl favorites. Yeah. Yeah. I believe that for sure. I believe that for sure. So, Gavin O'Brien, and thanks for joining the live over on YouTube, Gavin. We appreciate it, man. He says that Miami's going to get the 1 seed. Y'all think Miami gets the 1 seed? I mean, they got to play the Ravens. The Ravens got a tough schedule. I don't know. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. A Trey Fade, no. Mason Rudolph is not better than Baby Hands, Pickett, or Trubisky. What do I honestly think of the in-season tournament in the NBA? To change the subject real quick, I like that the guys were playing hard. Now, it's a meaningless tournament other than they're playing for cash, and some of those guys, not the top line guys, but, if you're making $3 million and somebody gives you $500,000, that's a lot of money. First of all, $500,000 is a lot of money for anybody. I don't care if you're making $50, $60 million a year. I don't care. $500,000 is $500,000. And if you notice, people that have that kind of money and make that kind of money, the smart ones will tell you the same thing. $500,000 is still a lot of money. So I like how they're playing hard. Now, did the NBA need to have a trophy ceremony and all of that stuff? No. I thought that was over the top and ridiculous. But to get the guys playing hard, I give them credit. I give them credit. My man Bud Snodgrass still not counting out the Chiefs, but man, they got some issues. Tony needs to be benched to start. I probably missed the convo. Yeah, we talked about it. I think that's where some of this has to start, the accountability. When does the guy go to the bench? When does he just not play anymore? How many mistakes does he get to have? Man, it's crazy to me. He just keeps getting chances. Chance after chance after chance. So, we'll see. We will see. My man Dallas H says, I think the Ravens get the number 1. The Dolphins will lose to the Cowboys and the Ravens. I only see the Ravens losing to the 49ers the rest of the way. That could be true. So, you could be right. I'd like to see either one of them get the 1 seed. I need to see the Chiefs go win a playoff game on the road. I need to see that. So, my man Michael Jacinto, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for the super chat. If the Bears beat the Browns, do they make the playoffs? I don't think the Bears can make the playoffs, But the Bears are fighting. The Bears are fighting. That was a good win yesterday. A good win yesterday. I mean, the Lions, like I said, if y'all noticed, ever since I said we can't find a Lions fan, has there been a Lions fan anywhere on TikTok? I know there hadn't been one on YouTube. There hadn't been a Lions fan anywhere. Like I said, you won't be able to buy a Lions fan this week. You won't be able to buy one. They ain't coming around. Lions fans ain't coming nowhere near here because Lions are up for fraud of the week. We do that on Tuesday. The Lions are up for fraud of the week right there with my Steelers. So, yeah. Fraud of the week. The Lions are right in that conversation. But they're 2 games up in their division. So, we'll see. But no, I don't think the Bears have enough. They've lost too many games to make the playoffs. But they can still keep fighting. They can keep fighting. So, we'll see. We will definitely see. And again, thanks for the super chat, my man. We appreciate it. We appreciate it. Let's see. Trey Fade, no. We're not. No Mason Rudolph. You can stop asking, my man. No. My man, the answer is no. He stinks. And if he plays, the Steelers' offense is in trouble. It's in trouble. Okay, but you're saying that they've given up that many points in the last 3 games. Okay, that happens in the NFL. That doesn't mean their defense isn't still good, right, Troy? Or they just stink? Do they just stink? Because I don't think they do. And they've also played some decent. I mean, just I'll let it go. Because you're here to argue, and that's cool. I get it. I'm with you. I'm with you. You don't like the Browns, so. But the Browns are playing well right now. And Flacco is helping them. Joe Flacco. Who knew? And that's a good question or a good statement. The Steelers aren't frauds. They are who we thought they were. Yeah, you're right. Steelers aren't fraud. Nobody thought the Steelers were that good. So you're right. Oh, they're my squad, but it is what it is. It is what it is. In my opinion, here's a good question. In my opinion, the Chiefs can win a playoff game, can't win a playoff game, much less a home playoff game without the refs. Yeah, I don't think the Chiefs. This is not the Chiefs' year this year. Now, can they turn it around with a month to go? Yeah. Yeah, they can. But will they? Probably not. Probably not. The Broncos look like they're trying to sneak into this playoff thing, aren't they? Somebody just said that Purdy isn't even close to being the MVP, which could be one of the dumber statements that I've heard. You don't have to agree that he is, but to say that he's not even close is ignorant. Let's just call it what it is. That's ignorant. You can't come in here and say ignorant stuff, or I'm going to say it's ignorant. Y'all know that, people. Y'all know that. We all have fun, but don't say dumb stuff. So, yeah, you can't say that. And I'm going to hate on Purdy all day long. I'm going to say what I say about him, but I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be honest. So, All right, man. I've gone as long as I can go today with this sore throat, man. I'm going to shut this one down for today. So I apologize. I've done all I can do today, man, on the Big B Daily Show. So my throat feels like somebody just ran over it with a cheese grater. So hopefully we get better tomorrow. Again, we're live Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Central Time. Anybody that's not following, please give me a follow. I appreciate it, man. And click on that link in my bio on TikTok, man. Click on that link. And come on over to YouTube, man. Join the chat over on YouTube. It's more entertaining, more people. You get your question up. Go on and do that, man. So I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate everybody on YouTube, man. Y'all always keep it fun. So I will holler at you guys tomorrow. Let's have some, hopefully, 2 games on Monday Night Football. What the hell are they doing? What's the NFL doing? Oh, my God. And they come on at the same time. I just, oh, my God. Whoever the schedule makers were on acid or something. Oh, they were on that sticky, icky. Woo! Good gracious. Either way, man, y'all have a good one. I will holler at you guys tomorrow, and aloha.